All right, guys, welcome back into another episode of To The Show Baseball Podcast presented by Beyond the Monster. I am your host, Andrew Parker. Today's episode, we are going into the Detroit Tigers organization. We got Colin Fields on, and Colin was just named a high All-Star for West Michigan this year for his performance. I talked about it with him on the show that you will hear in just a moment, but his back of the baseball card numbers, man, electric that he had this year for high A, which is why he was named an all-star. But so we do talk about his season, and a lot of the success that he had. We talk about his plans going into the offseason and show a little Valpo love in there as well. But before I get to the interview, whether you're watching me on YouTube right now, listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, please like, subscribe. I think it is free to do so on all platforms, especially YouTube. I'm making a large push right there. I'm trying to, obviously grow that subscriber count. And it all helps, and I appreciate everything. But without further ado, let me shoot you on to the interview with Colin Fields. All right, I am joined by Colin Fields, and who's fresh off his 2025 season, I guess just a couple weeks back now. And he was named a high A All-Star to end the year for your great performance there. In high A. And I know you obviously got a little taste of some other, when you get called up as well. But I want to start. Obviously, you were named a high A All-Star. Can you kind of tell me, what that was like? And I guess what, looking back at your season, and how was that for you this year?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, obviously the personal success was nice. And I think it's, shown the work that not just I've put in, but the people in the Tigers organization that have helped me with my development have put in. But on top of that too, like the success of the team in general this year in West Michigan was insane. And it made things a lot easier on us as a bullpen in general when, we had so much talent on both sides of the ball, and obviously we won a lot of games. So it just created a really fun atmosphere and made it fun for all of us to be successful.
Yeah, I don't want to, I'm not always the big fan of reading the back of the baseball card numbers. I know there's a lot more that goes into defining success and failures in the baseball season. But your back of the baseball card numbers in West Michigan this year, pretty fun to read. I mean, a 1.64 ERA over 66 innings. You had a 10.9 K per nine. You struck out 80, only walked 15. So back of the baseball card numbers are very fun to read. It obviously shows you had a very, very successful year. At what point during the season were you kind of noticing like, hey, like these numbers are pretty good. Like I'm feeling pretty good. I'm having some good outings. Like when did you kind of pick up on that?
Yeah, I mean, try not to look at it too much. Just trying to take things outing by outing. Obviously, I mean, you're facing a lot of good talent week by week, so things can change in a hurry. And I think just once we had kind of clinched the first half, and you were able to see some of the success, guys getting recognized for that success, and I think just had a feeling that I knew I was having a good year, and I think once we clinched that first half, I think all of us in general too just wanted to keep that going in the second half and get even better. And I think you can look at the second half numbers. I mean, everyone almost really got better in the second half too. So I think halfway through the year, we kind of started realizing like, okay, not just again the personal success, but also the team success in general too.
So you had something interested me as well is you had you had a couple different outings in the middle of your season where you did get called up and you made, you had an appearance in AAA and AA. Was that, I guess, can you walk me through that a little bit? I guess, like, how were you feeling to, obviously it wasn't like a permanent promotion or anything like that, but, whether they needed an arm or whatever the situation was, but how was it, I guess, facing better competition and I guess older players? I guess, what was that like, the experience like for you?
Yeah, I think it was definitely eye-opening to see different hitters at these different levels, and kind of sort of helps you understand what you maybe need to work on, and what you might have success at one level might not work necessarily all the time at another level. I think the AAA outing was really eye-opening for me, understanding hitters approaches and stuff. And guys up there are just much more selective. There's less chase. So they're really good hitters. So I think I had that outing early in the year, and I think it while it didn't go great, I think I was able to learn a lot from it. And I think I was able to take that to the rest of my season and understand, okay, this is what's going to play. Let's start working on this. And I was, obviously able to use it to my advantage.
Yeah, I find that like fascinating too, just being like, going from high A to your outing in triple A definitely has to be a little bit of a learning curve there because I have spent a lot of time in triple A locker rooms compared to like other affiliates. And, triple A, you have everywhere from the 10-year MLB vet possibly down there pitching or you maybe have a journeyman bat that's been in the it's been in the big leagues for years. And then you go down to high, you don't really have that. Like you don't have the guy that has MLB time and all that. So it's a very big difference between the two levels. So I can only imagine that it felt like probably you were thrown into a little bit of a fire there. So something that you did touch on that I did want to ask as well is, you kind of talked about, the success that West Michigan had this year at their affiliate. You guys had clinched the first half. I've noticed that Tigers in general, a lot of their minor league affiliates have been winning lately, and I think I saw Lakeland won, down in low A, and you guys were in the playoffs. It seems like every level has winning teams in the minor league, and their big league club is also putting on a winning season. So, do you feel that at all? Like while you're down in the minor leagues, that you have talent at every level, and is that noticeable for you?
Definitely. I mean, especially having been in the organization for a couple of years now, like guys at different levels, and you have personal relationships with them, and so you're closer to those guys. You're a little closer to those teams, even if you're not on them. And I mean, you can feel the success, of course, when you're in West Michigan and you're in that spot. But just, I mean, it's you see it on Twitter, like it's hard to stay away from it, but also too, you have conversations with guys and you just understand like it's a really special thing that the organization has put together, and they've just created a massive talent pool and set up a lot of stuff for the future. But I think too, like you're learning how to win right now at these levels, and it's showing. So yeah, you feel it. You can feel it every single day you come to the ballpark.
Have you noticed has it been that way since you joined? Obviously, you said you've been in the organization now for a little bit. Have you noticed a change since the day you joined the organization to now, or has that been kind of the way it's felt the entire time you've been there?
There's always been an expectation that you're going out to win every single day. I just think the talent has grown and grown over the years. But from a competitiveness standpoint, like I from day one, you could feel it in the organization. They've created a great culture. Obviously, can't speak too much to the hitting side, although we have a lot of great talent there. But from the pitching standpoint, so many different arms from so many different angles, and they've just created something super special there. So yeah, you can feel it from the start, but the talent has grown significantly for sure.
Well, I want to shift gears here a little bit. Now that 2025 season's officially over for yourself, and you're gearing up for another off season. What's in store this off season? Like, what do you have planned?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for me, obviously, with the numbers this year, I've been able to control the ball well, put it in spots. It's just trying to continue to gain velocity is my biggest thing. So going to keep chasing that, exploring different ways that I haven't necessarily tried in the past. So I'm kind of going through the process of don't really know exactly what I'm going to do, but I have some idea of a program that the Tigers give us, which helps. So just trying to get stronger and build cleaner mechanics that can help you throw harder. But that's the biggest thing, I think. Throwing harder, and then the secondary stuff, just continuing to develop that.
Yeah, I always, obviously the way, I guess baseball is in 2025. is, obviously velocity is king. Everybody's chasing the velocity. It's all you ever hear about with pitchers. And I feel like it's easier said than done. It's like, hey, I'd love to throw, I'd love to be the guy that throws 99. Obviously not everybody was given that natural talent. So I guess, what does that look like for yourself? If you are trying to add, 1.5 mile per hour, whatever it is, onto your velocity, like, is that just a ton of like weighted ball stuff? Like, what does that look like for yourself?
Yeah, I think it definitely starts in the weight room. I think there's a lot of room for improvement in my body. Weight room and nutrition is a really good base for all this stuff. And I think I did a good job of the nutrition side of things last season and the strength things last off season. But yeah, there's always room for improvement there. And I'm definitely looking forward to getting after in that aspect. And then from on the mound standpoint, there's just um, you know, if I knew exactly what the things were, I would be throwing a little harder than I am right now. But I think there's just super minor tweaks in there. Like, it feels really close. It has for a while, and um, I think just repetitions and different drills maybe necessarily will be the unlock this off season.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I always hear guys like, I obviously would love to add some velo and everything, and I just feel like it's a lot easier said than done, obviously. All right, so I talked about this before we started recording, and I definitely wanted to ask about it because I've done well over 200 of these interviews, and you are my very first guy on the program from Valpo, and we were kind of talking about it a little bit. Obviously that is a place that I think helped create, where you are today. They kind of helped mold you to where you are now. So I want to show some love to Valpo here. What was it like playing there? And I guess, obviously you spent 4 whole years there. So can you tell me about the experience playing at Valpo?
Yeah, I love Valpo. I think it really geared me up for the situations that I'm being put into now. Coach Schmack there, our head coach, and also the pitching coach, is someone that gave me a chance and believed in me. All 4 years I was there, I didn't really have many offers coming out of high school. And from the get go, I got there and was given a role in the rotation, and was able to hold on to that for 4 years. But Coach Schmack there is, someone very influential to me and someone I respect a lot. And two, like, I had very up and down years there. Strikeout numbers were really good. I walked the house like every single year. So it was just a lot of hard moments there that I think, while I don't necessarily consider my college career very successful, I think it's something that I went through there that a lot of guys in minor league baseball and professional baseball didn't go through coming into it. A lot of those guys have success um, at the college level, and I would argue that I didn't. So I think that those failures were something that prepared me for moments, and the career that I'm hopefully forging here. But love Valpo. I wouldn't have traded it for the world.
Something stuck out to me what you were just saying there is, you kind of you had a different experience that, you might be sharing a locker room in high A and double A with, maybe a guy that was drafted in the second, third round out of an SEC school. And, you got a bunch of those guys all around the locker rooms. And then, you played at Valpo and, you didn't have all the offers coming out of high school. And, you did go through some struggles and in college, and some of your teammates you probably share in a locker room with, like, probably dominated college or, had a million offers out of high school, whatever it is. Do you use that as like a chip on your shoulder? Is that something that kind of motivates you a little bit?
Definitely, definitely. And I take pride in being a Valpo alum. It's a small community, but it's a proud community. And um, I definitely take, that as a chip on my shoulder for sure. And I want to represent the university well. Obviously, want to represent myself well, but I want to represent university well. And, you know, I definitely like get a little happiness from going out there, and maybe if there's a bigger prospect, I'm just kid from a small time school, and I'm able to compete at the same level that they are. So it's definitely something that I take to heart, and I'm very proud of.
And so, we talked a little before as well. You grew up in a Chicago suburb, and so I'm not going to make you say it out loud. I don't know who you rooted for, if you were rooting for the north side or south side growing up. But was there any players, I guess, especially since you were a pitcher, like was there any pitcher that you grew up kind of like, hey, I really liked watching this guy pitch in Chicago? I guess who was that for you?
Yeah, that guy was Kyle Hendricks, and
Okay, I know
I
which side
love. Yeah, right. It was Kyle Hendricks, though. He watching him pitch was it was different because he was in a time right where the major leagues and baseball in general was transitioning to this velocity era, and he was a guy who would just go out there and he would throw 90, and he would come at you with all these different looks, and he would put it wherever he wanted to. And I obviously a guy that doesn't throw that hard. Um, it was something that I could somewhat liken my own arsenal to, and that was someone that I wouldn't say I tried to model my game after, but it was someone that I think I learned a lot from watching him pitch.
Yeah, Kyle Hendricks, that's a good one because you're completely right. I feel like he was right on that cusp of like, he's right before you were seeing. I think at the time you were just like, I'm used to Aroldis Chapman out in Cincinnati throwing like 103, 105, and that was a very like wow, that's a rare thing. Like, and then then it started going that way where it's like now a lot of guys are doing that, but yeah, Kyle Hendricks, man, he just knew how to pitch, and I think I loved it. I think that's why I loved watching guys, back to the Atlanta Braves. I kind of dating me now. I'm only 30, I promise, but just watching like Glavine and Maddox and those guys, it's like they just know how to pitch, man. It's just like I don't know. I miss those days a little bit, but I'm still glad to see some guys out there still doing it. But so for you, let's just say you're in your off season. You even dating back to the season, you had an off day every Monday. Let's just say that you weren't traveling around. What were you doing on the off days? What are you going to be doing in your free time in the off season?
Yeah, so aside from watching football and all that stuff, I'm a big Packers fan. So that's my Sundays are taken up. Yeah, you can see it right there in it's a Packers quarterback right there. So, but aside from that, my biggest hobby is movies. I love going to the movies, and I love going by myself with whoever. It doesn't matter. But a little nerdy, I guess, but I rank movies and I rate them, write reviews and all this stuff, and that's kind of my little like outlet from baseball, I would say. So that's going to be outside of all the training and all that. That's a big part of my off season.
Is that like is that something that you like publish online, or is that like you do it just for yourself?
I have like a whole database that I keep for myself, like a whole Excel spreadsheet of all the movies I have on there. I got like 600 something ranked on there. So it's been in the works for a couple years. I started it, I want to say senior year of college. So that, and then the reviews I write, they're on Letterboxd, the movie reviewing app, and I write those on there. So they're public, I guess. Yeah.
I kind of love that, to be honest. I'm a big fan of that. I was just living out in Boston for the last few years with my wife, and she grew up in St. Louis, and so she was, I made her watch all of the Boston movies. I would say, you gotta, like, you're moving out here, just watch them. Like, you gotta at least watch, like The Departed, The Town, like, stuff like that. Like, get familiar with the area, like, kind of do that. So I had like a system where I was ranking every single Boston movie that was portrayed by Boston actors like Affleck, Damon, all of them. So I had a whole system, not as probably as good as what you do, but I'm like, this is the order you got to watch it and everything. So I don't know. I'm a big movie guy too. I'm a big TV show guy now, though. I don't know why, but
yeah, I get that. It's a longer storyline. You're able to watch it in pieces a little more. It's longer lasting. I definitely get it.
I used to be a huge movie guy, man. I don't know. It's just like so many good shows have come out lately, and I'm just like, I can't
Definitely.
stop watching them. I can't.
Yeah, and you can't have time for everything. You know what I mean? It's hard to watch everything. So
Well, one follow-up question on that before I move on to my last question. But what is the number one ranked film for you?
it's Parasite. Parasite's my number one movie ranked. It's a Korean film that won Best Picture a couple years ago. Um,
Okay.
really good. I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite, if we're talking
But
favorites,
it's just number one ranked.
but number one in terms of pure movies, that's my number one.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I had to
Yeah.
ask because obviously you got 600 of them on there. I'm not gonna be like, hey, give me your top 10, whatever it is. But all right, that's it.
Yep.
It's good to know.
Yep.
All right, I got one last question here, and I will let you slide. So obviously we talked about what your goals are going into your off season, things like that. It's just now starting. I did see a countdown the other day on Twitter. Somebody had already counted down the days until pitchers and catchers report to spring training, and it is less days than you probably think it is. It will be here before you know it. So you will
Oh
be
yeah.
at the spring training complex. What are you looking forward to the most in your 2026 season? Whether it's like, it can be like, uh, where you want to report to, I guess, any type of goals you have numbers wise, like what are you most looking forward to for your 2026 season?
It's a good question. I think overall the answer might change during the off season, but I think knowing myself, like I'm gonna miss competing and going out there and pitching every day. So the camaraderie of going out there and going to the ballpark every day with the guys, no matter what level it is, like you create a lot of these relationships, and go out there, and obviously it's in the minor leagues, like you're working on your own game. It's a very personal thing, but at the same time, like we talked about earlier, the Tigers are going out trying to win ball games, even in the minor leagues, and going out there and competing with the rest of the team is something that I know I'm gonna miss. I'm starting to miss it already. So I think just looking forward to going out competing again, having the ball in my hand and doing what I do best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought you weren't supposed to get the itch until after Christmas time, but it sounds like it's already there.
Yeah, yeah. It's not it's good to have some rest, but yeah, it's I can definitely tell that I'm already missing the competition for sure.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, you've literally been out of the season for I think less than 2 weeks, and or maybe right around 2 weeks. But yeah, that's fun. But all right, Colin, I appreciate all the time. Obviously, wishing you best of luck going into the off season and going into the next spring training in 2026. But thank you so much for doing this.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me.